Hey, everybody.
Good morning, all.
Well,
Hello.
morning from here, morning from Chicago and Aurelia, but it may not be morning for you. It may be evening or afternoon,
Yeah.
maybe in the middle of the night. Somebody, Jory Jordan's here from South Africa, so
Ooh,
I don't know what time it is down there.
it's later.
It's winter.
Yes.
It's winter, yeah. Yeah, Lynette Jester was the first one here this morning, so you win the Winky button. Victor Rose is here. I already mentioned Jory, June Butka, Susie Carta, Hillary Gatsby came in yelling. She came in yelling, "Hi, everyone," with all caps on, and then apologized for it. Oh, my gosh. That's a horrible thing, Hillary. Lisa Gervais is here. Let's see, Crystal J. Chris Ferriello. I love saying Chris's name every day, even though that's not the way he says it. Patricia Jackson's here. Hey, John Tyner from Ireland.
Hey, John.
Let's see. Karen Stewart's here. Jody Green. We got a full house, and the full house gets fuller and fuller as the morning goes on, so that's a good thing. Question: we were talking and carrying on so much before that we almost missed pushing the start button. So
I had to go. Wait, it's time.
Y'all. Question. Do either one of you have Spanish, Iberian, Portuguese, Canaria, South American? None.
No, nada.
Nada.
Touché.
That is the question of the week. Do you have Spanish roots? So you people over there in the chat, if you talk about some of your Spanish roots, I'm sure we've got somebody in there. Spanish roots, we had 28 answers, not a big number, but lots of really, really good answers, starting right away with Oliver Slay. I have a grandfather who was born in the street, Las Ramblas, in central Barcelona. There's a statue of his aunt in the Parc de la Ciudadela from 1914, and several paintings and museums by his uncle and aunt and grandfather who worked with Gaudi. Now, if you don't know who Gaudi is,
he was big.
That there's a saying that says, "Oh my God, that's Gaudi." Well, if you look at some of his work, you would think that, because Barcelona is just incredible.
It's an amazing
with
city.
some of the art and work there. So that's really cool that Oliver Slay right off the bat is talking about Barcelona.
Neat.
Lisa Gervais says there is one French-Canadian ancestor called L'Espagnol. Okay.
L'Espagnol.
No, that's interesting, but they're French-Canadian. Lots of stuff. And there was lots of migrations and stuff going around in that area. And it was called different things too. So Andalusia, Catalonia, Menorca, the Canaries. There was lots and lots of migration from Portugal and the Canaries early on. If you, and I hope I don't get in trouble for saying her name, but if you've ever heard of or met Janine Cloud over at FTDNA, she has Canary roots, which is really fun. I like talking to her because I've been to the Canary Islands, and that is a fascinating place because they live in those lava tubes in the side of the mountain. A lot of people still live in them.
Wow.
There are thousands of years old houses in these lava tubes from those volcanoes.
Wow.
So, Gibraltar. That's pretty cool. That's from Eddie Bassano Andrews. I have a grandfather born in Valencia, Spain. I was surprised to find out that one of my Dutch ancestors who came to Albany, New York in the 1600s was of Spanish origin. Apparently, there's this big Dutch and Spanish thing going on. Variations of the names are Joseph Jans, Joseph Jans van Santen, and Joseph Jans van Zandt. And of course, everybody jumped on that one and don't know if they were related to the rocker Van Zandt. So, no, didn't know anything about that. And I think Van Zandt might be a lot like Smith.
Oh, really?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Somebody check that for me. John Tyner, look at him. Who started that? Did you start that?
I started that so we wouldn't forget. We wouldn't miss it.
John Tyner's got a closest connection I have is Guevara. My dad was mistaken for him and put in jail for a night.
That's very cool, isn't it?
Yeah, somebody look up Che and put up some stuff. He was a revolutionary.
Yeah, from Cuba.
Yeah.
Cuban.
Mhm.
Jack McDonald says, no close that I know of. You have to go back as far as Lenore Castilla de Castile. So that's 1241. So we're talking way, way back, Spanish roots. We get down here. Let's see. I love this. Hello, new to WikiTree. We had a few new to WikiTree posts.
Nice.
Yes.
New posts.
Good deal.
According to my heritage, DNA, I am 20% Iberian, and my last name refers to a place in Spain, Ledesma, I'm not sure about how to pronounce it, near Salamanca. Pedro who was a pilot for Christopher Columbus and Basque. There you go. Let's see. Marion Cerruti obviously has great stuff. Don at Basco was from Spain. Circumstantial evidence that he may have been a Spanish diplomat sent to the Bahamas. It's interesting. In the Bahamas, the language is Spanish. There's lots of Spanish. And the Canary group landed in Puerto Rico and then went on to the Texas, Louisiana area. Let's see. Talking about the Roman Catholics. Costa Ricans. I'm more than 90% Spanish ancestry. So I went through all of these comments and Salvador, and there's 2 pages and great ones, and a lot of people were talking about how they had DNA, and some people were asking. Let me see. Go back up here. Again, wish somebody could find some records for the Pradillo or the Logroño family. Lots of people asking for help. So if you know some Spanish information, especially as it relates to South America, it appears there's a lot of people who are asking for help in this stuff today. But did somebody say DNA?
You said DNA.
I think somebody said DNA. So I
You're ready.
Some of the DNA information. This is the mitochondrial, I believe. Yeah. And here's the Y. So the Y DNA makeup of all of the areas of the Iberian Peninsula, and you can see all of these. Now, this R here, R1, that is the Northwest European modal kind of haplogroup thing. So that big swath of red in there you see. But there's a lot of other stuff. There's a lot of African influences. The Moors came into Spain, especially southern Spain at one point. So there's lots of great things. Now, I did what everybody else does. I looked it up on Wikipedia, and I found this great chart. There's also a chart showing the mitochondrial DNA makeup of Portugal. And again, we have one of those northwestern haplogroups, H, which is 47% of the people in the world. So that's that big pink blob. But you see, there's a lot of really fun makeup of this information. Again, I found that on Wikipedia. I also went to a journal in the Nature, the Journal of Nature, where they're talking about the people who populated from North Africa and Europe down into Spain and the Iberian Peninsula and over here into the Canaries. If you didn't know where the Canaries are, they're off the coast of Morocco, but they're Spanish. And how those groups kind of populated in Brazil, Peru, Chile, Argentina, Mexico. So that's really, you're looking at the different things. Now, this is in a Journal of Nature. So that was one thing. And they're talking about some of the Jewish populations that were very strong in that area. Now, here's another fun thing. And this was another journal looking at the African makeup in the peninsula. And I really like this.
Yeah, what kind of
It's
how does that graph work?
Yeah, it's different. It looks like mitochondrial. Yeah, it is maternal. So mitochondrial is often done in a circle.
Yeah.
That's how it appears in the body. It's kind of this big circle thing. So this makes sense that they have done this diagram in that circular fashion to show those connections. And the orange and the brown are the influences from Northern Africa. So that's pretty cool. You got to figure out how to do that on WikiTree for us. I also wanted to point out that there were a lot of great DNA group projects. If you put in Iberian DNA group project, you'll see Iberian Peninsula project with almost 6,000 members. There's a Amerindian Mexico DNA group project. You can check that out. There's one for Brazil. There's one for Chile. I didn't have time to find the one for Peru, but I bet there's one for Peru as well. The Chile, 90 members, but the southern hemisphere is testing more, so there's more people. And let's see what was this last one. This last one was kind of interesting, and this was for Argentina, because some of that information for Argentina just seemed to be missing, so I just pulled it out. And it shows very interesting African kind of settled in the middle here, which is interesting. So if you're really curious, you can find some scientific pictures, scientific graphs and graphics and presentations that have been put together and put into scientific magazines about that DNA. Also, a lot of people were asking about, well, if you say you're from Chile, does that mean that you are Native American? And a lot of, or indigenous South American, and a lot of people were saying, yeah, I have some. And that goes to some of the information that you want to see in some of the Native American DNA group projects. And it's Native American goes all the way to the tip of Argentina.
Right.
So Roberta Estes on her blog, DNA Explained, I can pop this in over there and you can find this. Here we go. Oh, there we go. If you want to check that out, she's got all of the DNA group projects at wherever, what date was this? 2014. There probably are more now.
I suspect.
Yeah, there'd be a lot more now. That's 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But this is a good starting point, and you could probably ask in the questions here. So Amerindian, Cherokee, mitochondrial, let's see, Acadian. Acadian. Shawnee, Tuscarora. Yeah, she doesn't have a lot of the South American. But the South American indigenous populations are going to be very similar to the North American indigenous populations if we believe the Bering Strait land bridge and they came down. Also, there were some influences in some of the DNA into some of the Polynesian in the Philippines.
That other route.
Yeah. So look at us with our hand movements there. Yeah, it was a fascinating questions. Wow. Did I find one that I thought was the question of the week? Oh, which one would it be? And be sure to go through and upvote these.
Yeah.
My paternal ancestry goes through New Mexico and Mexico back to Spain. So not just in South America, but in the U.S. I have ancestors from Spain, and a lot of the Spanish ended up in America, not just in Florida, but they went to Louisiana in the 1770s to protect Louisiana. Right. So you got to have that Spanish influence over there. Because when you're in New Orleans, there's this weird Spanish-French thing, you know?
Yeah.
Let's see. There was a post on the first page it's a long post, but I actually thought it was the best one. This is it. Nice question. Thank you so much, WikiTree. Since I joined as a descendant of Johannes Vigne, I'll take that down. My paternal 12th great grandfather, thank you so much to descendant who posted his portrait. I was astonished to find the interwoven histories of the ancestral Dutch and Spanish ancestors, which pulled me into a vortex of databases for the last 5 years. So talk about going down the rabbit hole. We know that here.
Oh, yeah.
Finding that many ancestral narratives in diaspora descendant families are basically fairy tales that were meant to heal trauma. That's we've talked about that here, before. that family lore, sometimes isn't the real story. Documentation for 500 years of Spanish migration to the Americas is where I found nonstop sources that are real facsimiles and the scholarly work of YouTube by Spanish scholars, Sephardic scholars. Historians hand me royalty ancestry on a silver gilded platter. Why not golden?
Yeah.
Kings of the Canary Islands, kings of England, emperors, King Alfonso X, lineage direct to my maternal grandfather. It's like the new telescope, leaving the microscope behind. If lots of those trees are made already. Spain, Portugal was the biggest power in the world for 300 years. The people sent to that big empire were royal younger sons and their coterie of talented intellectuals, armor makers, map makers, notably pilots for ships to get to America, and so on and so forth. So this is a really fun talk from MR, and so I'm going to give it the.
There you go.
Gold star.
Yeah, and that was a really fun thing to see, and also. That whole thing about healing trauma that sometimes the stories that we hear in our family lore and our genealogy are there to heal trauma. I hear that a lot in the Appalachian Facebook group where sometimes the stories were made up so that you didn't find out the truth about a situation. So
interesting.
Did I say biscuit?
Not yet, but you did now.
I did say biscuit. So that is the question of the week. Go through, upvote some of those, especially when you upvote our video.
That's
and
right.
Let's see. Van Zant family is fairly common, not as common as Smith. Thank you. I love that joke.
Yeah.
I did say Appalachian.
And Yoke also.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, she clarified that Spain ruled the Netherlands for some time. So the 80-year war was about. And we even have a reference to the King of Spain in our national anthem.
Woo! Huh. There's a lot of interconnectedness.
That's interesting.
You can't say that we are something. We're everything. We really are. Really are. Especially if you look at that DNA mix.
Yeah.
These people, let's see that one. Yeah, look at how many vast and different DNA groups there are that make up the people of Spain and South America.
Yeah. I had a question when you were showing the South American. I was wondering if is there a word, so you know how the word Métis refers to a mix of Native Canadian First Nations and French. Mixed ancestry. Is there a Spanish plus Native?
I don't know that. I don't know that. I think that the most of the people that I know who have that heritage take it back to the group, the Incas, or what was the group before the Incas?
Mayans.
No. Those were later.
Oh.
They were the first named group in the anyway. So that I know them to go back to that. I don't
Aztec?
have a Métis comparable word that I've ever seen. So
the Aztec.
No, the Aztec were Mexican area mainly, and were later than the Incas. The Incas were very early, and then there was a group before the Incas. I'll find that before the end of the show. I'll find it.
Okay.
Right, so that is our question of the week.
Woohoo!
Thanks, Megs.
Well, that's great.
Do you have Spanish roots? You can continue answering the rest of the week.
Yes.
Fun to see.
Cool. Well, the profiles of the week are also fun. They're so much fun. They're all about toys. So what toy inventor are you most closely connected to? And I suspect it's all because, and it says right there, with all the talk of the new Barbie movie, that's where they came up with this theme. I think it's fun. So I have two props with me because of all these toys, I've had some of them, not all of them. But in the house right now, we have a little baby. We've got a Barbie doll that Sophia plays with sometimes in our toy house. This Barbie's, her hair's, anyways. And then I have a Canadian Frisbee that we got on One Canada Day. So those are the toys.
Can I make a comment about Barbie's hair?
Oh, I know Barbie's hair. This doll has been in our house since since our daughter was born like 92. So
that looks like a 1982 kind of side kind of hair.
Yeah,
It could have
side
been.
ponytail.
I mean, it might have been Julie's Barbie.
You know what I learned
at
from
one point.
Barbie growing
What'd you
up?
learn?
I learned that if you pull the doll's head off, you can't put it back on.
Yeah. Now I've never done that, but Julie's had dolls that suffered that fate because of her brothers and cousins.
I pulled my sister's dolls' heads off, and I could not get them back on, and that was not a good thing.
Oh no. But you probably didn't bury it in the garden, or
I probably tried to hide it somewhere.
Anyways, so let's just check out some of these toy inventors. So starting off with the inventor of Barbie, Ruth Mariana Moscow Handler, born.
And Greg,
Yes.
just one more thing to interrupt you is, you know who raised his hand when you asked if anybody had any of these toys?
Chris, of course. If we'd had Chris on, he probably would have had all the rest of the ones that. Oh, that's hilarious. So
Stop interrupting you. Go ahead.
No problem. Ruth Mariana Moscow was born the 4th of November 1916. Wow. In Denver, Colorado. Passed away at the age of 85 on the 27th of April 2002. Palindromic year. Very nice. In Los Angeles. American designer, inventor, and entrepreneur. She and her husband founded the highly successful toy company Mattel. And Ruth was the designer of the Mattel Barbie doll, their bestseller. So the two of them had 2 children. Now, the daughter apparently is still alive, but I can tell you from looking up on Wikipedia that her name was Barbara, the daughter. And guess who the son was?
No.
Ken. Yes, their children were Barbara and Kenneth. Hence, Barbie and Ken.
I love it.
Isn't that amazing? Oh, I just love. Well, when I saw, it doesn't say anywhere in this profile, and I'm guessing it's because they're trying to respect the privacy of a living individual, right? But man, that's just that piece of information.
I want to see what Ken looks like. I got an idea of what. Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, the names they're so much a part of popular lore.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But they had to have come from somewhere.
Yeah,
I'm sure she just didn't open a baby name book and go.
No,
that.
No,
So,
it was there. Yeah,
makes sense.
That was. So the cool thing is, so Ruth married her high school sweetheart. And they were married on June 26, 1938 in Denver, and 2 children, including Ken. So he passed away at 50, so that was way too young.
Yeah.
Not sure why. I didn't actually investigate to see the cause of death, but and then she passed away at 85 and is buried in Hillside Memorial Park, Culver City, California. And there she is with her collection of Barbie. All the dolls.
Oh my. I never had Barbies growing up.
Neither did I, but I think my sister probably did. And I didn't have the Ken dolls or anything like that. On a farm that was not encouraged.
GI Joes would have been.
Yeah, no, those types of things were not things that. But the mechano sets and things where you got to build stuff, that was more my style. Next, we have David Brewster from 1781, December 1781 in Canongate, Jedburgh, Roxburghshire, Scotland. Passed away at the age of 86 on the 10th February in 1868 in Allerley House, Gattonside, again, Roxburghshire, Scotland. British scientist, inventor, author, academic administrator. In science, is principally remembered for his experimental work in physical optics, mostly concerned with the study of the polarization of light and including the discovery of the Brewster's angle. He studied the birefringence of crystals under compression and discovered photoelasticity, thereby creating the field of optical mineralogy. So I think that's how when you shine a light through minerals, depending on how they refract, you can identify the minerals. I think that's what they're referring about here. He was dubbed the father of modern experimental optics and the Johannes Kepler of optics. So that's pretty cool. Now, he was, as a pioneer in photography, he invented an improved stereoscope, which he called the lenticular stereoscope, which became the first portable 3D viewing device. He also invented the binocular camera, two types of polarimeters, the polyzonal lens, the lighthouse illuminator, and the kaleidoscope, which he is credited for. That's the toy, the kaleidoscope that, you look through and you see all these refracted images. And then he died in 1868. And if we go to his Wikipedia page, you can actually see. Now, the cool thing is the lenticular lens that he was in, the stereoscope. If you look at that, you can see that's actually like the precursor to the Viewmaster. Did you ever have one of those Viewmasters?
Yeah, I love those.
Me too. Yeah, we had those. I remember the first, the first one I got was scenes from the TV show Land of the Giants. Remember that? Like they were little, they landed on this planet and they were always, and so on a Viewmaster, when you saw that, like it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I remember it was like a big deal, like to get a new collection of slides. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
collect them.
But anyways, I thought there was a picture of the kaleidoscope in here, but I guess not. But anyway, so that's David. Moving on to Atherton and Darling Converse. And yes, there is a connection to the running shoes. This guy is related. He's a cousin of the person who invented the running shoes, in case you were wondering. He was born, Atherton was born in 1877 in Cheshire, New Hampshire, and passed away in July 1956 in Darien, Fairfield, Connecticut. Son of Morton Converse and Harriet Atherton. So his first name came from his mother's maiden name. He was a Harvard-educated businessman, a toy manufacturer, and a politician from Winchendon, Massachusetts. Served in the Massachusetts House of Representatives after being elected in 1906. And his patent for toy building blocks looks very similar to Lego. So I think there was a dispute about copyright and stuff with Lego, and it doesn't say in here that this was the person who was involved with that, but I'm guessing that it might have been. So yeah, toy building blocks, very similar to Lego. He also went on a hot air balloon flight to demonstrate the practicality and accuracy of dropping explosives from the height of 1 mile using eggs as his test example. So that's kind of interesting, I thought. He and the Converse shoe inventor, Marquis Converse, were 6 cousins, twice removed. And he was the inventor of the toy erector sets.
I loved the erector sets.
Yeah.
That is my favorite thing to play with when I was a kid. And that pulling the heads off of Barbie and going and playing with the erector set.
Yep, there you go. Yeah.
There you go.
Now, erector sets were similar to Meccano, right?
They were made out of metal. Like they were real screws and real,
Yeah.
I have to look that up.
Yeah, those are cool. Then we have Alfred Carlton Gilbert, who's a distant cousin. I forgot to look and see who was my closest one, but I'm sure you'll tell us soon, Megs.
Oh, you know what? I don't even have that up yet. Oh, that's cool. Okay. I've never noticed. I've never seen a Meccano. So is that a Canadian thing?
I'm thinking it might be. Yeah.
Oh, shit. Oh, that's cool. I can see what you're looking at, Mags.
Oh, you want me to share it real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that's what we had. Maybe it was cheaper, and that's probably what my parents bought it for me instead. But yeah, it had screws and everything. And some of them were metal, and some of them were plastic. Some of the pieces, depending on. Yeah.
It's very similar to an erector set.
That's what I thought. Yeah, and Alfred Gilbert's also credited with inventing erector sets. Were they the exact? Oh, so no. This guy wasn't the inventor. He was He was related to the one who was Gilbert, who was the inventor of the erector sets. The one who I just finished talking about, Atherton. His claim to fame was the building blocks.
And he is your closest at 18.
Okay.
And my closest at
But
60.
his grandfather, but the connection is that this guy, Converse, his grandfather's brother married Gilbert, who was the grandfather of the erector set guy. So the two inventors were related to each other, were cousins as well. So here's the guy who did the erector sets. And he was born in 1984 in Salem, Oregon, and passed away in January 1961 at the age of 76 in Boston. And so then there's a lot of basically notes from the census of where he was and when he was living and stuff. But he invented the erector sets and later took over the American Flyer trains. So must be another brand of trains there.
Yeah. All I can think of is radio flyers, the red wagons.
Yeah, the wagons. That's what I was thinking too.
Flyer trains, doesn't bring anything up for me.
Uh-oh.
Oh no, you got hurt by Meccano? How, Richard?
Got pinched. I bet you got pinched.
Oh, yes, that could happen. Yes. Yep. I can understand that. Earl Kenneth Forsey was born in 17 September 1936 in Bellwood, Butler, Nebraska. And passed away the 19th of March, 2014 at the age of 77 in Laguna Woods in California, Orange County. He was the American inventor, author, and producer who created the toy Teddy Ruxpin.
You're being corrected.
I am.
As yours says, it's Arugan.
Arugan? What did I say? What was Arugan?
Was it on the previous profile?
Arugan.
What are you talking about, Az?
Yeah, where was Arugan? When did I say Arugan?
Is it a place name?
Is it Oregon?
Oh, Oregon.
Yeah,
Oregon.
okay, gotcha.
Oregon. What did I say? What?
I'll put that up just so people could see that.
Okay. What Oregon? What did I say?
Who knows?
Oregon? No,
Oregani.
Oregoni?
Origami.
Oregon. No. I think I would have said Oregon.
Was it something? We're going to have to watch the playback and see.
Yeah, that's right.
I know it is one of those state names that gets a little slightly mispronounced.
Oregon?
Oregon. Oh, Oregon as opposed to Oregon?
I always say Oregon.
Oregon.
Yeah,
it wasn't your accenting.
G-O-N.
Okay.
Oregon.
Meanwhile, poor Teddy Ruxpin is being overshadowed here. Did you ever have a Teddy Ruxpin?
Nope.
A talking dog or teddy bear?
Nope.
No. We had oh my. All of a sudden, the skies have opened and it's dark out there and creepy. Yeah. So we didn't have it, but one of our nieces had one and she was quite enthralled by it. So I remember that. Otherwise, that's about all we have to say about him and Teddy. Then we have John Barton Gruelle, who was born on Christmas Eve, 1880, in Arcola, Illinois. Passed away the 9th of January, 1938, at age 57 in Miami Springs, Dade County, Florida. Oh, Finnegan's a little worried here.
He's looking at Raggedy Andy out there.
No,
I'm looking at the radar, Greg.
He's looking at the rain coming down.
Oh.
The radar is pretty scary out your way.
Oh my, it is really coming. I don't know if
very,
you can tell.
Very, very, very red.
It's very, wow. That is quite some serious weather coming down.
So if Greg disappears,
yeah, that's right.
Don't forget that the last image you see is Raggedy Ann.
Yeah, that's right.
And those big eyes.
Oh man. Okay. Finn's gonna try and crawl on my lap here. It's okay there, buddy. Creator of Raggedy Ann and Andy dolls, famous writer and cartoonist, and his obituary was published internationally, so well known, obviously. He was living with 1900. At 19, he was living with his parents. Finished 9 years of school and could read, write, and speak English. All the little facts that you find out from the census, right? Which is cool. which is including that his family owned the farm free and clear, which is nice, and especially back then, nice to know. And he was already employed as an artist. Married Myrtle Swan in 1901, had 3 children, and he was an artist in the cartoon industry. He was renting a house in Connecticut in 1920, and then they bought a home worth $32,000 in 1930. I don't know what you could buy for $32,000 nowadays.
I was gonna say 1930, that would have been a big house probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he was already an independent artist and he owned his own studio. So that's pretty cool. But he died prior to the next census. Well, that's very sad. But his by the 40s, he'd already sold 7 million copies of his books. So he died of heart failure in 1938. That's why he wasn't in the 1940 census. There you go. Nice little picture there of the two, Raggedy Ann and Andy. Very cool. Nice with the background, in this profile.
Yes, yeah, I was noticing that.
Or creepy.
What's that? Well, it is, the face does look a little creepy, but this is from the original patent, right? See, because there's the inventors, there's his signature as he submitted it, and then the attorneys to verify it and all that. So that's kind of cool. Like, I mean, it does look a little creepy, perhaps.
I think it's the nose.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's showing buttons for eyes, which is realistic, but
yeah,
the nose looks a little not human.
Yeah, I don't want that looking at me while I'm trying to sleep at night.
Okay. Okay.
I never had a Raggedy Ann or anything.
No.
No.
So the next 3 are all connect. No, not the next 3.
The Slinky.
This is the Slinky guy. Look at this. I love the background picture. I mean,
we have a Slinky somewhere around here.
We used to have a Slinky, but we had 2 Slinkies. We had one that was plastic, and that didn't last very well.
Yeah.
And then we did have a metal one when the kids were younger, but I think it got left out in the rain or something. But so it got all twisted and a little rusty and stuff. So
I bet June was a cuter Raggedy Ann than that drawing on that profile.
I bet you she was. Anyways, Richard Thompson James, the inventor of the Slinky, was born on New Year's Day in 1914 in Delaware. I wonder if he was the first baby of the year for his play. Now it doesn't say the city or town he was born in, so that's interesting. And then he passed away on July 13th, 1974, at the age of 60. Cochabamba, Provincia Salgado, Cochabamba, Bolivia.
Kathy Nevis says she had a Slinky, but no stairs to play with it on.
Oh no!
That's kind of child abuse, right?
Yeah, that's.
Oh no! You just went back and forth.
Yeah, exactly.
All day long. You just hear that ching, 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 ching. I hope you did it so much that it tortured your parents. Ching, ching,
wow.
ching. What about your front steps of your house?
Yeah, that's right. Or bring it to school, and then if you had.
Or make stairs with books, something like
that.
Yes, that's right. But they have to be just the right length, the right width, right? That's the secret, right? It has to be the right.
Listen to that thunder.
Oh my.
See, even the gods think that the no stairs with a Slinky is just.
Yeah, that's right. It's just wrong. It's just wrong. So he was born in 1918, conceived the Slinky after seeing a torsion spring fall off of a table, and it flipped end over end across the floor. Based on those observations, he invented the Slinky, and it was first sold in the Gimbels department store in Philadelphia.
I remember Gimbels.
Now, was Gimbels the store that was in Miracle on 34th Street that was the competitor?
Oh, I don't remember.
Macy's.
It was Macy's. Macy's was where Santa was, right?
Yes, and Gimbels. Yes, Gimbels was the other one.
Because didn't he sometimes give advice to go to Gimbels?
Yes, like we have it 2 blocks down at Gimbels.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's the only thing, because there was no Gimbels in the town I grew up in, or probably not even in Canada at all.
So. No, we didn't have Macy's either here.
No, we didn't have Macy's either.
It wasn't a store that was. I remember going to, but I remember hearing about when I was. Yeah.
Now, we had Woolworths. Did you have Woolworths?
Yes, we sure did.
Yeah. Anyway, so he was an entrepreneur named the Slinky and managed to market and sell the toy. More than 300 million Slinkies in all their variations have been sold at the time of Betty's death in 2008. His wife, Betty, was the entrepreneur. So there we go. There's even a Slinky Museum of Play.
Oh, I wonder what it sounds like in there.
Yeah, really. Neat.
There's something satisfying of doing it in your
There
hand
is.
and having it go all the way over and then all the way back.
Yeah. Walter Frederick Morrison, born 1920 in Richfield, Sevier, Utah, passed away at the age of 90 in February in 2010 in Monroe, again in Utah. American inventor and entrepreneur, best known as the inventor of the Frisbee. He married Lucille Eleanor Lunay in 1939. And again in 1971. Okay, that's interesting. They had one son and two daughters. Their marriage ended in divorce, but then they got remarried 2 years later. So that's hence the two marriage dates. They were living in Los Angeles in 1940. And he enlisted in the war in 42. But before that, he was inspired to create his flying disc while he was playing a game with his future wife. So while they were still students, they were tossing a popcorn tin lid back and forth on Thanksgiving Day in 1937 and found that the lid was denting too easily. So they moved on to throwing cake pans at each other, just flinging it around. I guess in 1937, you play with whatever you have at hand, right? And poor students wouldn't have a lot. The next thing you knew, Walter was selling flying cake pans for 25 cents each on the beaches of Santa Monica, turning a profit, which helped him pay for his marriage.
For his marriage?
I think they meant pay for the wedding. Yeah, maybe we should edit that little, just change that word to wedding, I think is probably. In World War II, he further developed a toy using aerodynamics, improved his cake pans into the Whirlaway with a fellow pilot, Francione, and they changed their name to the Flying Saucer, and then they made a version called the Pluto Platter. And then in 57, the sporting goods company Wham-O picked up on the distribution of the disc, and in 59 registered the name that everyone's familiar with now called the Frisbee. Now, the Frisbee actually refers to a person who baked pies, William Russell Frisbee. His family had a pie company, and they had been tossing pie tins around before Walter made it sort of famous and whatnot. So it's a reference to the original pies. So I kind of like that they actually went back and used that as the origin for the name.
The original inventor guy went back to that to name it the Frisbee?
Well, I don't know if it was his idea or if it was someone from the company, from Wham-O, that decided that. One of the next profile, or this one of the next profiles, is about the person who sort of tweaked his design. So it could have been part of that. It doesn't say here whose idea it was to change it to Frisbee. I'm guessing it wasn't him, because look at here. Despite disliking the name himself, Walter's invention was a hit, due largely to it being plastic and the aerodynamic changes that they did.
It's so much fun to throw frisbees. Frisbee throwing will be happening this week at the family camp out.
Oh, excellent. Good.
Oh,
Yeah.
fun.
Do you have a Canadian Frisbee?
I'm sure that we do, but I'm sure that they all have bite holes in them because there are dogs involved.
This one, let's see. Do I have some chew marks from Finnegan? I don't see any chew marks, surprisingly, on there. Yeah. So the next profile, Richard Park Kinnear, is also connected because he and his partner co-founded the Wham-O company, which eventually distributed the Frisbee.
But it's not the Frisbee we're looking at right now.
No, this is the hula hoop. Yeah. So he developed, he and his partner, Arthur Kelso Mellon, developed the hula hoop and the Frisbee fads in America. He and Spud co-founded the Wham-O company. They produced toys such as these and the Super Ball and the Slip and Slide. He learned the hula hoop came about because he learned of how Australian children played with twirled bamboo hoops around their waists in gym class. He thought that was a cool idea, developed it into a toy using hollow plastic. Sold it for $1.98 each. Or what? $21.54 today?
Doesn't it have a bead or something in it that makes it have a sound?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so.
Really?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
Well, that-
remember that sound. We had hula hoops.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do a hula hoop now. It's not working.
No.
Guess you really need to have a hula hoop.
Right. By 1958, already 40 million hula hoops were sold, and over 100 million in 1960. So that's amazing. Wow.
Well, I'm looking on Amazon and
Mhm.
hula hoops. Well, a 2-pack. There's a 2-pack for $15.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, a single
so-
one is $10.
Okay, so it's not quite as expensive, sort of, relatively speaking. I guess they took the 198 in that year in 57 and then just followed inflation.
Right.
That's where they got the 21.54.
So
Yeah.
still a bargain.
Still, the 25-cent Frisbee was a lot cheaper.
I'll have one of those, please.
Yeah. And then the third person connected with this is Edward Ed Steadyhead Hedrick, who reevaluated and reinvented the flying saucer. He was largely responsible for developing the game of disc golf with the Frisbee. Started an association like the PGA, but it's the DGA, the Disc Golf Association.
Mm-hmm.
Was born in 24 in Pasadena, and then passed away in 2002 in La Selva Beach, Santa Cruz, California, age 78. And when he was cremated in ashes, his ashes were molded into memorial Frisbees. Isn't that cool? I mean, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe weird, but still, not many people have their ashes molded into Frisbees. So there we go. There's a picture of him and his dog.
There's a town south of here called South Mountain, Ontario. And they have, it's like a one road town,
Yeah.
And they have a Frisbee game through the town. Aw, Finnegan's a little worried.
Someone wants to get. Okay, there's just one more, Finny.
Finnegan
There's
in your
one
lap.
more.
We don't mind.
One more profile.
Oh, John Lloyd Wright. And yes, he is the son of Frank Lloyd Wright, the famous architect. And he passed away in 1972, born in 1892. So he was 80 years old. And he was the inventor of the Lincoln logs. And maybe in a few weeks, Megs can show us her own Lincoln log that she's creating in her backyard.
Yeah, I have a bunch of logs in the backyard from storms, and I thought I would make some fun Lincoln logs for my grandchildren.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see. So this was a short one. Yeah.
About it.
Yeah. The idea of the Lincoln logs came from watching one of his father's designs, an earthquake-proof building in Japan, and then he thought, "Oh, I'll just make these. I can make Lincoln logs." And there we go.
That was another one of my favorite toys, but they were my grandfather's Lincoln log set.
Yeah. Very cool. And that's all I have to say about that.
Wow. That's a fun set of profiles.
It was fun. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
oh, look at that. Yes.
and you said that what is it? It's a pen or what is it?
It's a
highlighter.
highlighter. It's a WikiTree highlighter.
Nice.
They were for the booth at Roots Tech for people playing bingo.
Nice.
Excellent.
Oh, I see Finn's getting some hugs and love from
the
crowd.
If we were all in the same place, he would have no complaints about getting
No, that's right.
Well, I have just one photo this morning for our theme, Dressed for the Time.
Mm-hmm.
Whoops, let me go there and make it bigger. So did I see Victor in the chat?
Oh,
yes, you did.
Yes, excellent. Okay, so great. It's fun to show photos when people are actually in live with us. So this is his great Aunt Mabel, who is the one with the curls and looking down, and Myrtle Patton. But he doesn't know who Myrtle was, estimating that this is sometime in 1929, because he says if you expand out, like at this size, you can kind of see the license plates. He thought he got a clue from the license plate and was hoping for any insight on the car. Mags, you're kind of good at that usually. Any?
I would say 1930. It looks like I can't tell. It looks like a two-door Model T. Maybe not. It's hard to. It's got that medallion on the front too. That should. It makes me think it's not a Model T. It's not. It's not. It's. I would say it's in like 29, 27, 28, 29, 30.
Okay. So he's in the ballpark. To me, Myrtle looks young. I wonder if she's like a friend's daughter or something.
Oh, yeah. I see that, yeah.
Right. He says probably somewhere in Illinois, but he hasn't found her, I think, meaning Mabel, in the 1930 or 40 censuses. She did live in both Urbana and Elgin. So great. Thank you. And then I have a tip.
Ooh.
So, yep, let me go to, actually, I need to.
I'm looking through cars. I was thinking knowing the area, but no. I'm thinking maybe it was a Franklin, but it's not.
Oh, okay. So the tip, I don't know. I seem to be on sort of like a spring cleaning kick.
Oh, yeah.
My tips are all about tidying things up. But, anytime's good for tidying and decluttering and that sort of thing.
That's right.
So, if you go to your watch list, you've got these tabs across the front, across the top, and you go to this one called BioCheck. And I had showed a different, last week we looked at suggestions that you can pull up through WikiTree Plus, but here's a different set of suggestions. And I was playing with this last night and I was having so much fun, checking them off that, I thought, wait, I have to stop because otherwise I'll have nothing to show in the morning. Yeah. But it's things like, no sources, like this is my Taiwanese great grandfather, and sources I'm having a hard time getting a source for him. Things like if you are, this is a really easy one to miss. Right under sources, there's a bit of wiki code that you see when you're in edit mode, this references / tag.
I know what kind of car it is.
Oh, tell us.
It's a Ford Model A.
Model A.
Big Thor, I hope you're listening. Okay. How did you sleuth that out, Mags?
I've been looking at photographs of cars. Yeah. And comparing it. And this is the closest one I have, just real quick.
Okay.
That looks just like the car that they have. It's it's a single door, but it looks like it could have a back, so it's
sure. Sure.
So, yeah, okay. And it's got the little medallion.
Nice.
Sorry. Yeah. Come to WikiTree to have or the Saturday Roundup to have your mystery solved.
I just love old cars. There was a car the other day, and the guy, it had a rumble seat. I dared him to eat his poutine in the rumble seat. He said he couldn't get in without destroying his poutine. So,
yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. Thanks, Mags. Let's see. So yeah, you can go in to any of these. It takes you right to the profile in a different tab. And for instance, all right, we're going to go into McKay, and it noticed this was when I was, I guess, less experienced. My categories had ended up below the biography.
Right.
So I know tisk. So yeah, categories above, stickers below.
Right.
So do that, and then this is okay. Formatting, save, and now this, unlike what I showed last week, where you have to wait for maybe a week for the changes to be reflected. I'm going to refresh.
You hit check profiles again?
Yeah, I refreshed, and now that is off my list. So if you like the satisfaction of seeing a to-do list just get smaller and smaller.
Nice.
Sure. Yeah. And BioCheck was developed, Greg and I were talking about this before we came on, is an app developed by Kay Knight. And Greg has some updates to share on that.
Shall I go now?
Yeah, yeah. And then I'll show my August profile.
Okay, super.
Yeah.
Watch your eyes. It's gonna be colorful.
It's going to be colorful. Yes. So late breaking news. This is actually, you're getting a sneak preview here because this is the most I've been doing some work on the fan chart this week, and I have submitted this latest change. So it's in the food chain, it just has to get approved and then published. And this should be available in the Tree apps sometime this coming week. And I've got a whole G2G post about it. But what's new, for this version of the fan chart app, there's actually two things that are new. Those of you who can I Spy will see that there's an extra button there that didn't used to be there. But this one, now the fan chart and the BioCheck app are working together. So there are 4 ways you can use the fan chart to check on the BioCheck status of your ancestors. One of them is that you can go to the highlight and you can highlight. Used to be there was only the DNA types of highlighting, but then I added the ability to highlight people who were born on a certain day and whatnot. But now there are, if you want to highlight which ancestors have no sources, you can do that and click on the checkbox there, and they'll get highlighted. And you can see them right away. And think, oh, that's right in my face. Now notice these two here. Now I'm using one of my great French grandfathers, Jean-Louis Cloutier, and at this level, at 6 generations, he had these two great grandparents are repeat ancestors. And if I go up 1 generation, you will see that they repeat here and over here, right? And so you see that colored because of the colorizing that the fan chart does by default. So I've added the colorize option inside this tab so you can turn it off if it's getting in the way. Now, I mean, they're still going to be repeated, but you can get it out of the way of what if you're highlighting. If if your focus is on what's being highlighted and not necessarily on the fact that you have repeat ancestors, right? So you can turn it off if you need to. So there we go.
I saw somebody asking in the genealogy squad yesterday if there was an application that would allow you to do this.
Really?
I did. So yeah,
there is now.
Come on over to WikiTree, everyone.
That's right. And then you can also do it for style issues. Now, if you look closely, you'll see that some of those that had no sources also had style issues, which is interesting. Now, if the bright yellow is a little bit too much in your face, or if you want a little bit more gradients, you can go to the color, and instead of coloring by, so let me turn off the highlights. Okay. So right now the default color mode is by generation.
Look at that gap in your tree. Boy, does that ever show up.
Yeah, well, this is my great. So this would be like 10 generations back. Born in 1700 in France. But you know what? There are more French records that are available now, like from the département in France. So that might be possible to track this down.
But that is so cool that your tree's so full.
The French side is it? Yes.
But there's this group that you need to work on, and look at that for something for what your focus needs to be.
For obsessive
nerding
type,
out.
This is good. So now there is a new option here for BioCheck status, and if we do that, then. Woo! There we go. So let me just zoom in on. How do I zoom?
So does that mean that the green ones need?
No, the green ones. Green is good.
Green is good.
Green is good.
Okay.
Yeah. So this one, it's passed. It has sources, and it doesn't have any of these initial things. Okay. So if it's white, it means that the BioCheck logic couldn't parse what was there. Got it. So if there's no dates at all, it's this color, or if it's unsourced, or if it's style issues, or if it's because the way the coloring works, you have to apply a color to every single thing. So I had to, for those that didn't have an issue with biocheck, I just gave them green for go. So let me now zoom back in, and let's get rid of all these.
Hillary says she's got big gaps because of unknown parentage early in her tree. And that's good. But truly, if you've got gaps in your tree, Greg's programs, his fan charts can really point those out.
He's going to really point that out. So now let me show you the second thing, because this is come in handy. I didn't actually plan for this when I zoomed in, so you could read the biocheck, the legend here. But there's a new icon in the on the left-hand corner.
Yeah.
See that? The 4 arrows? That's
Isn't that the right-hand corner?
Wait.
What's that? Right corner? Did I say left, right?
Yeah, you did.
It's right.
Oh, yeah, right.
I was getting confused.
Okay. It's the zoom to fit button. If I click on that, boom. And in fact, it actually has 3 settings. So if I click it 3 times, so one is at 80%, one is 100%. So and sometimes if you just scroll up so you can see the top of the bar, then it sort of fills the whole screen.
I'm just so upset now.
And so the third setting is whatever custom zoom. So if that's what you really want it to be at, then you can sort of cycle through that, and then it'll come back to that zoom level. So anyways, that's the zoom. That's the fit to zoom button. Because I wanted to get back here so we could see. There we are. So the pink one for here is the unsourced. So if I go to his person pop-up, there's now a direct link to biocheck, and if I open up that, it'll automatically check, and there it is. There's his name. It's unsourced ? So we know that, in fact, that's the problem. Now, but what if the problem was a style issue, and we don't know what style issue it was? Well, if we go to Jean Lefay, open up his biocheck, there's the style issue right there. So it tells you what it is.
What was it?
Acknowledgement subsection instead of a section.
Oh,
so it's one of
an acknowledgement section isn't a subsection of the source section?
Yeah, so it should be its own. It should be, I guess, at the same level as sources and not a subsource. That's how I read that.
Yeah.
Okay. That's one of the rules, I guess.
So anyways, it is. So on that thing, it is not a subsource section. What we were looking at.
It is a subsection. The problem is it shouldn't be a subsection. It should be its own section.
Wait a second. Go back up. Hit edit. Let's look at that real quick. I just want to understand this.
Okay. Well, let me go back to his. Let me go back to the bio. I think I closed the biocheck window.
Aha. Okay. Yoke just solved it for me. It used to be. Now it is. Only people who work on WikiTree will understand this.
Yeah.
Instead of being. Thank you, Yoke.
Because I was having some heading errors where it was saying I had done sections on titled migration or children, and I was using 3 equal signs, so it should just be 2.
Oh, so
is that right?
I think that's what it was saying. Let's just see. I'm going to make that change. And what are we going to call that? Is that formatting?
Formatting, yeah.
Save. Okay, there's Jean-Baptiste. Now, if we rerun his biocheck, no style issues, 0 style issues.
All right, now I know how to to check off a bunch of my problems.
We solved it.
Hanlon has a question. What level are research notes? They are their own section, period. 2. So.
Oh, now I think I'm guilty. I think I often put those as 3 inside the biography.
Nope, they're their own.
Okay, I'll get bad notes for that then. But anyways, I thought this was a neat way of being able to, so you can sort of see where you need to go.
Aaron is saying that the biocheck says that that's the wrong level, but it is absolutely the correct level. I can tell you that for sure.
Okay. And then the third place, well, actually, so I sort of showed you the 4th place because there's now a direct link to the biocheck at the end, at the bottom of every person pop-up. So the other place is that you can choose to add badges to your ancestors. And I think I showed badges before to you, didn't I not?
Yeah, but show it again.
Okay, so the badges are populated here it goes through all the ancestors in your fan chart and picks out every category or every sticker that's on any one of them. And those now you can choose to add as badges. So
yeah, go back to the very beginning when you first started working on the fan charts, Greg.
Yeah.
And how remedial they were at the very begining.
Mm-hmm.
And think about what they have become. It's like watching a child get through elementary school now into high school. It's so impressive to see your work. I just love seeing it. And fan charts, were one of my pet peeves. I wanted a fan chart.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Wow. Now it's on steroids.
Yes. Well, no. It's graduated high school and it's in its first year at university.
Really? Yeah. There we go. Yeah.
And it graduated high school as valedictorian.
Yeah.
So there I just added the fille du roi. So Jean Cloutier and myself have two. Well, actually, we have many filles du roi in our. If I go up another generation,
are the girls of the king.
Yeah,
ladies. A bunch of women who were shipped over to Canada to marry all those French boys.
Yeah, they needed to populate the New France, Nouvelle France. So
while the King of France was sending over virgins, the King of England was sending over Protestants. That's the mindsets there. The French. And the
man. So, anyways, that's one type of badge you could add. But I've also added now. Oh, and you'll like this. You can add a badge to show which ones are confirmed by DNA.
Oh.
Now, because this is so far, only my great-great-grandfather is confirmed, because then these two guys are too far away. I don't have triangulation to confirm those. But back to the theory at hand, biocheck is the last two. You can show the ones that have style issues and those that are unsourced. So you can see that some of them have badge 3 and 4 on their thing. And I do know, I mean, you don't have to send me a note in the G2G post when I do the post about this. I do know that the outer rim, the badges are off. I need to tweak the placement just a bit, because if I put all 5 badges, like, so if I just grab, yeah. If I put all 5 badges on, they're going to run off the edge. So I need to tweak the placement algorithm for the outer rims. So
Aaron Hanlon figured out why we're getting a note on that. If you just say research in the title, then and not research notes, that's how you're getting picked up on that error. All right.
So let me go back and make this just by generational, and then you can see those. Anyways, that's the biocheck mixing with the fan chart and how they work together.
How wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, thanks to Kay Knight for writing the code that allowed me to integrate it so nicely. And I also have to shout out to Jonathan Duke, who wrote the code to make the zooming in. And the other thing is, remember I think we did talk about this last time. If you print now, it'll automatically print it to one piece of paper and make it as large or as small as the paper. And let me just get rid of that.
So if you wanted to go to a shop and have it printed on a poster, you could do that. That's
right.
Great.
So and look at, if you change the orientation, it automatically adjusts to the width.
June wants to know, how does she find it?
Okay, and then you can open. Sorry, June, I'll get to that in a sec. Okay, and then there's the print. You can choose whatever type of paper you want. But then what I do is I open it up in a PDF, or you save to PDF, and then from that PDF file, see, there it is. Then you can send it off to a print store.
It looks like a 7-year-old who's missing teeth.
Yeah, this may not be the best one that you want to send and print for your family reunion.
Yeah.
There are other styles
but you know what? Greg and I are working on a project together other than WikiTree, and this would work out really well for Carol. Yeah.
Yes,
That's
it would.
cool. Yeah.
Yes, it would. So June, your question was, where do you find this? So if you go to the tree apps, you'll get to the fan chart. This specific update, the update where the biocheck is integrated, that will be coming and will be updated sometime this week. But
so from your profile, the navigation menus top right of your profile, go to find.
You just go to at the top here. You just click on tree apps.
There you go.
And then if the last thing you loaded was a fan chart, it'll load automatically. So now David here has a fairly small fan chart.
And you can click on that fan chart up there and it'll show you all the other things that you can also go to, June.
That's right, yeah.
But it's also an option in the bars right across the top, right?
Yes, it is. It is.
Yeah.
Under find apps.
Right.
You just have to go one extra step there.
Actually, that takes you to the old standalone fan chart. Not the new improved one.
Oh.
Well, and I asked Jamie to leave that there for the longest time because there were still a few features that hadn't migrated over to the tree apps. I think the only feature that's in this standalone that's not in the tree apps right now, I think I now have every single feature from this old one. And the new one's faster to load as well.
So on your profile, June, there's a sub place for tabs, a sub tab. So just scroll down.
Yeah,
and you'll see it, and it's tree apps. There you go.
There it is. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
That's the one you want. Okay, I don't know why this one's. Anyways, there's just one little feature, and that was the ability to add checkboxes. I don't know if you remember me showing that to you at one point. Let's see. Come on, hurry up. Look, waiting, assembling.
We're all playing with our fan charts.
Okay, good. Yes. Oh, come on. Why is it taking so long? Oh, look at that. The internet's slowing down on me.
What? You just had like a tornado go through your yard.
I know. There we go. Okay, so there's my fan chart. The one feature that's not there yet is this one about showing checkboxes. And so I built that so you could customize it. So you could make as many columns as you want. Say you wanted that. And then what I used this for was then when I printed this out and I basically used it as a tracking device. And I just sort of made a legend that, the top ones were birth, marriage, death, dates, and then places. And then, and then I just checked them off as I went through each of the ancestors and whatnot. So that's the only feature that's on the old standalone hasn't been migrated over to the tree apps version. And I don't know, is that something that people would be of interest to, or is that something I don't need to worry about adding?
Is it antiquated now?
Yeah, because there's so many ways of tracking. I mean, you can do this tracking manual. You don't need checkboxes for it. I just thought it was a cool idea when I developed it.
So Betsy Co, did you finish all of your stuff? Or have we
no, she has one more thing to do. This was only supposed to be like a 2-minute.
Yeah, we've turned into a 30-minute talk with Greg about his beautiful fan chart.
I was
done.
I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
You were done? Okay.
No, I'm done. Betsy and I wasn't done. Or were you?
But I could carry over. You know what? Let me carry over to next week. It was an August ancestor, and I'd like to give the person a heads up that I am going to showcase it.
Yeah.
So
instead of just calling their name out on a live show.
Yeah, and then I
mean,
I was going to say after the fact, check out the video at this time mark, but
yeah. Well, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So we'll move on. We got some things coming up. The Sorts-a-thon is coming. Didn't we just do a thon?
Yeah, we
did.
Would you like to donate a prize? They're going to do some fun prizes again this time, other than just the T-shirts, mugs, or whatever. Didn't you have a mug today, by the way?
Me? Yes.
Yeah.
I had Barcelona.
Oh, yeah.
Have you registered for the 15th annual anniversary symposium and party? That's coming up in November. I'm talking. Are you talking? Nobody? Okay. I'm talking. I will be talking from Houston.
Talking for the. I thought you meant now.
Great.
No.
We thought that you meant we were being rude. And
Yeah, are you
I
guys
know.
talking over me again? Call that pot calling the kettle black.
Yeah, I will be talking at some point.
Oh, good, good.
and
What are
I'm
you
doing.
talking on?
Oh, I'm going to be hosting the tech stream on WikiDay.
Oh, cool. And what
So
about
I'll
you?
be doing a presentation, and I'm getting all my tech buddies to do one too. I haven't actually told them or asked them yet, but I will.
They're
now
finding
invited.
out now. Betsy,
You're finding
what
out
are you
now.
talking
You're
on?
invited to join me on WikiTree Day.
I'm doing a special new member feature for a brand spanking new member. To
Ooh.
walk them through like all the initial setup things, that will help make your WikiTree life happier. And
I'm talking about DNA. No.
Are you?
I'm talking about setting up DNA group projects on WikiTree.
Oh, nice.
For the big DNA group projects that are everywhere, the Ancestry projects, the FTDNA projects. So that's what I'm talking about.
Cool.
And that's what I'm talking about while I'm in Houston too.
Ooh, nice.
Have you registered yet for the Wiki Games? Betsy Co's got that posted.
Please register. We're so close to 225 people, which would make 15 teams of 15. I mean, of course, if we go above 225, that's thrilling for different reasons, but it would be so great to have 15.
But 15 squared.
I know, Greg and we got to geek out on our math.
Mathing. We went through the whole show with no math today.
There was lots of math. You just didn't see it.
You didn't mention it. Let's see. We've got stuff coming up. So today is the 12th.
Yeah.
Yep, today's the 12th.
Yes.
So we've got the Saturday morning roundup right now. Data Doctor Challenge the 15th through the 21st, the 17th through the 24th. The WikiTree Challenge is London, Westminster, and Middlesex Family History Society. The 18th is Bingo with Sandy Paddock. Let's see. And it's a surprise.
Ooh.
Nations Global Tour, and it's a surprise. All right. And then we will see you again next weekend for the roundup. But before we do that, if you are interested in checking out the social media links for getting information out, sharing your social media, Azure does a great job of setting this up every week for us. So thank you very much. Is that this week? Yeah. So we've got Downs is our One Name Tuesday, home in Mexico, New Mexico. We've got an event showcase about the Wiki Games coming up. Connection Finder. The connections, I guess, are to Lord Cromwell. Friday Night Bingo. So if you want to share that information, you can do that. Otherwise, we will see you back here, same place, same time, and we're going to have more fun next week. I'll be in the woods, so I will be connected kind of sinuously. But I will be there. I won't be blue this year, but it'll be probably brown. Last year I was blue because of my tarp. So we'll see you next week. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for coming, everyone. Have a great week.
Bye.
Bye.